What's up, everybody? I'm not going to waste too much time and get right into this, but as you can see by the title, this is the video that I never wanted to make. But without wasting any time, let's just get right into it. I relapsed. I let outside pressures get to me, and that's on me, because I didn't have to drink. I chose to. I'll tell you the quick story. I had my first drink when I went into a gas station. I went in to get a Red Bull. Right next to the Red Bulls, of course, and all the other soft drinks is the beer fridge. I looked over at the beer fridge, and I was dealing with so much anxiety that day, and I was in so much pain because I was like tensed up and everything that I looked over and for that split second thought, I'd get a beer or two and make this pain go away. And by the way, it was like slow motion for me, but it really was a matter of 10 seconds, maybe less. And I said, no, we don't gotta do that. We've gotten through other things. I looked back at it and said, but if I just have one or two, I know it'll make my anxiety go away, at least temporarily. And that's key, temporarily. And again, I said, no. I looked at it a third time. And I justified it by, saying relapse is part of recovery. A saying that I've always said I hated because I don't believe in it. I don't believe relapse has to be a part of recovery. Relapse prevention needs to be a part of your recovery, but not relapse itself or the actual act of taking a drink or your drug of choice. When it happened, I thought it'd be done and over with after that. I felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed. I felt dishonest. I felt hypocritical. I felt a lot of emotions. The one thing I didn't feel anymore was the anxiety, of course, but that did come back later. One thing I didn't plan on was that once I opened Pandora's box, even though I've been told a million times that if you do it, you're gonna pick up right where you left off. And that's exactly what happened. So for the next few weeks after that, I drank, I didn't drink every day, but I drank enough, and quickly saw after, losing some, things that were near and dear and important to me, and having some consequences. I saw that we're going down the wrong path again. I need to get back into counseling and treatment. So I called my Case Act counselor. I told my therapist and came up with a plan. Had I not have done that, Eric's Anonymous would not have gotten himself out of this situation. One thing that I've never told you guys, some of you guys know that know me personally and that I've told the story to, and I do fully intend to make a video one day about the full story, but I'm still on probation from my last DWI. Now, that DWI is one I've not told you guys about yet. I've only told you guys about the first two. There was a third one back in 2019. And I'll share that story down the road. Now is not the time. But, there's legal ramifications if I drink as well. Not just, the embarrassment for myself or the shame I feel or the shame I feel or the guilt I feel for letting my family down and my friends down. But I had every intention. I was going to tell my probation officer as well. I just wanted to do it in person. There's another story to that. I end up having to tell her sooner, but that's for another video. But I had already enrolled. Let me tell you, I cannot stress this enough. I knew I did not want this life again. I wanted the life that I've been living for the past, before that, 984 days. I was 16 days away from 1,000 days sober. I was excited. I was gearing up to make a video for 1,000 days. I was going to do a stream. on Kick or Twitch, and it was gonna be a big party, a lot of fun. And through dumb decision making and not recognizing I was in relapse before I ever had that drink and not listening to my triggers, I gave in and went back to day one. Now, currently, I'm 13 days back to being sober. I always look for a silver lining in things. And the one thing I want to say, this isn't giving myself credit or anything, but just knowing I didn't want to live that life again, I had reached out, like I said, to my therapist and my KSAC counselor, and was already enrolling in treatment because I didn't want to continue down the path that I saw going. They say, like I said, you pick up where you left off. And let me tell you something, that is so true. That is, I don't know if you could call it fact, because I don't know if it happens to everybody, but it is definitely a true statement. I picked up right where I left off. Matter of fact, it seemed like my tolerance was the same. I don't know if that's true. It was a while ago, so I don't remember. But again, this is a video I never wanted to make, but I promised that if I ever did, in my very first video, I said I would tell you guys on here. And if it can help anybody, or at the very least, hold me accountable. That's mainly why I'm doing it, is hold myself accountable. But maybe it can help somebody who's going through the same situation. Maybe you got some time under your belt and you relapse, and then you decide, what's the use? If I'm just always going to keep relapsing or whatever. Notice that you got a problem, and if you catch it early enough, you can straighten it right back out. And that's what I'm doing right now. I think I'll be doing more videos like I did originally when I first got sober, to do some accountability and tell you guys how these steps in early recovery are again. But the biggest thing I want to do is apologize to anybody that maybe I let down, disappointed. My wife, my daughter, obviously. All my counselors, my PO, you guys, a good friend named Blake, who's always been there for me. No matter what, Blake shows up, and he's always been there without question. I let my family down, but ultimately I let myself down, because it's one thing about recovery. Selfishly, recovery is for you, the person going through it. I let myself down. But listen, I have two options. I could sit here and wallow in my despair, or sit here and cry about it and say, well, it's all over. Like, there's no way I'll be able to live a sober life. It's not true. I made it 984 days. And I believe I can surpass that this time, and hopefully not relapse ever again and get away from this permanently. But the proof is I did it. I've done it. So what's the positive? If I did it before, why can't I do it again? Right? But there's got to be certain steps I got to take, You do get a little comfortable. I'm sure a lot of addicts would tell you, and alcoholics would tell you, you get a little comfortable around that 2, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year mark. And then triggers start coming up and you're not paying attention to them like you were originally. And so therefore you succumb and you give in. I don't want to blame my issues. I don't want to blame anything other than myself, because ultimately I could have stopped it. I literally could just taken the Red Bull, walked away, dealt with the anxiety. It wouldn't have changed. And to be honest with you, I would have caused less damage in the wake of it all. Thank you guys for listening. I hope I never have to make this video again, but my promise still remains the same. If I ever relapse, you guys will know. One thing I did decide when I first got sober is I didn't want to be a liar no more. I didn't want to be a hypocrite. There's a lot of things I didn't want to be, just besides a drunk. And I intend to stay true to that, because I think if I keep and stay true to those morals that I reset and have rebuilt kind of my foundation on, then I can have a sober life. I can have a good life, because I'm gonna tell you, life was so good. You know what I mean? Life was so good for those 984 days. I felt great. And I'm already back to feeling great. You know, it didn't take long. You know, sure, it sucked the first couple of days, you know, not having my crutch no more, but now 13 days in, I'm feeling so much better. And I'll leave you guys on this good note. You are in control of your destiny. If you're an addict, if you're an alcoholic, sure, it is hard to kick, but there is always something out there. If you're an alcoholic and you've never been sober before, you're trying to get sober, or you've relapsed and it's been bad, you know, there's things like detox, getting back into outpatient. I didn't know this. I just found this out. The outpatient program I'm actually in is for somebody who relapsed, right? Because I had so much time sober. So that in itself is comforting. No, I never knew that existed. It's focusing on different things. Relapse prevention again. Rechecking and evaluating yourself for your triggers. Because, you know, I've been in therapy, so new triggers have popped up. And just staying on top of it. And that's what I'm going to do this time. Stay more on top of it. You know, obviously get comfortable in your life, but I don't ever want to get too comfortable that I forget these things that I'm learning this time around. And I'm still learning, because like I said, I've been in treatment now for 2 weeks, and it's going great. I'll leave you guys with this. I love you all. Thank you so much for supporting me through this journey. This journey is far from over. And in fact, I think we need to do more videos, because I think it's important to see how I bounce back for myself, to hold myself accountable. But again, if there's anybody else going through it, maybe you can learn something. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But maybe it can help you see that, you know, if you do relapse, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay in the gutter. You can make calls. Like I said, I never knew that there was a program for people that relapsed. Didn't know that. Didn't even know it existed. I just assumed it was starting treatment all over again from square one and ground zero. With that, guys, I can't thank you guys enough. I can't thank my wife, my daughter, my friends, my counselors, my PO. Blake, you're a big one in there as well, for all the support and all the love, especially for the people that knew ahead of time because they saw it in real life. Thank y'all for being there, not turning your back on me. I love y'all. I'll see you guys in the next video very soon.